Hi friends, it's Scraphappykath, Creative Memories Independent Advisor from Brisbane, Australia. Just doing another video today to complement our May challenge happening over on our Facebook group Scraphappykath, where we're using our circle makers to make a page. You can follow me on Facebook at Scraphappykath. There is a group where we all share our ideas, and there is also a page where I tell you about new products and promotions and give you inspiration and ideas and things. So you can also shop with me online at creativememoriesau.com/user/Scraphappykath. So today we're doing this layout, which is using our circle maker to create these shapes on the page. So to create this layout, we will need a few tools. So I have my little pile here. So you will need a either a decorative border punch or a border maker cartridge or a border sticker, and that will help you create this little border that goes down the edge here. You'll also need a corner rounder, and that will help create these shapes around the edges of your little wedges. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need a tape runner. I use the repositionable tape runner. I use the zero centering ruler to help me work out my margins. You will need a trimmer. You'll need a pen. You may or may not need your multi-purpose tool. I tend to use it because I make mistakes and it helps me lift things back up off the page. And you'll need a circle shape maker. So I'm using the jumbo circle with a red, with the red blade on my mat. You could use the Creative Memory circle cutter as well, but I'm using my shape today for this one. So to make the page, you're going to need a piece of cardstock for the base, and then another piece of cardstock to lay on top, a contrasting colour. I've gutted my dark colour going around the outside, and I've laid my white on the inside, and I'll show you how to do that. I have a 7" by 12" piece of designer paper here, and then I have my shapes going around here. Okay, so that's allowing for 5" on this side, and then my border going down the middle, obviously my photos, and then my embellishments. So the page that I've done here is using the beautiful Jazzberry paper pack from the Vivid Melodies collection, which is still available, and then also the Vivid Melodies laser embellishments, which are quite beautiful. For my demonstration today, I'm going to be using the Painted Garden collection, which has designer papers and also tone-on-tone pages, which I love. The Painted Garden stickers, you can see I love it, and I've had quite a good go at that pack of stickers, and also the Painted Garden embellishments, which you can see I've also had a pretty good go at these ones already too. So what I'm going to do is create the base page. So what I have is a 12 by 12 piece of dark cardstock underneath, and then a 11.5 by 11.5 piece of white cardstock, and then I have this designer piece here which is 7" by 12". So we'll go ahead and start doing that. So for this design, I've chosen this dark green piece from the designer paper pack, and then we'll have the white cardstock on top, and then I've chosen this stripe piece for the base over on this side. So we'll just go ahead and trim this. So I'll need this piece to be 7 by 12, so I'll just trim 5" from the left side of that, and that will leave us with a 7 by 12" piece. And we'll just pop that down. Okay, and then to create the frame around there, we just need to trim this piece off by 1/4 inch on either side so that we don't throw off the balance of this designer piece here, and then we can just go ahead and trim a 1/2 inch off the top there, because that's not going to impact on the design. Right, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, and then we can just go ahead and adhere that to the bottom. Okay, so before I adhere the base page down, what we can do is gut this base piece, and I'll show you how to do that. It's optional, but if you gut it, it means that you can use that centerpiece for photo mats later on, and it'll also help take some of the weight out of your album or off the page if you do that. So using our 12-inch trimmer, we'll just line this the edge of the page up with the 1-inch mark, and I don't know if you can see this on the carriage, on the blade carriage, you can see there's a white line here. So this is a 1-inch line. So the carriage is 2 inches long, and that white line in the middle denotes the 1 inch from the side. Okay, so what we need to do is when we're creating our frame, we just need to line this line up with the 1-inch mark on our ruler. And that means, or you can just line the edge of the carriage up with the edge of the trimmer here. And what that will do is make sure that your cut's going to be 1 inch inside from the edge of the page. Okay, so when you get over to the other side, we just need to make sure that we're lining the edge of the carriage up with the 12-inch mark on the ruler here. Okay, and that will create a 1-inch border from the edge there as well. Okay, another little trick is to pop bulldog clips so that the edge lines up with the 0 and the 12-inch line. You can see what I'm doing there. All right, if you come to my workshops, just come and see me. I always have spares of these in my little kit, and I'll give them to you. So we'll just line them up with the 0 mark and the 12-inch mark. Okay, and what that will do is stop the carriage from moving past that line and make sure that we've got a nice neat 1-inch border. Okay, so what we need to do now is line our paper up to the 1-inch mark here on our trimmer, pop that down, and then we just run our carriage along, and you can see that's left a 1-inch border on either side. Okay, turn our paper 90 degrees, line it up to the 1-inch mark, and same again, 90 degrees, line up to the 1-inch mark. We'll make sure our paper's flush against the edge here, 90 degrees. Beautiful, and that's created a frame for us, and we'll use this paper later on for our photo mats. Okay, so our paper's already been glued up, so I'm ready to pop that down. So this paper's directional, so I'm just making sure that I've got my paper going the right way. If you like, you can use your 0 centering ruler. It does have a 1/4 inch line on here, and you can line that up with the edge of the paper. Okay, and then we can line the ruler up. Ruler has a 1/4 inch line in from the edge, so it makes it quite easy to just butt the paper up against that and line that bottom corner up with that 1/4 inch line, and that should give us a really nice even border all the way around. So that's our base page done. Great, so now we're ready to make our little wedges using our circle maker. Okay, there's a couple of ways to do this. Now I've got full sheets of paper here, and you can go ahead. I've using the red blade on the inside of my circle, and that gives me the shapes to be just big enough to create that fan pattern within that 5-inch space that I've got on my page. But if you're not planning to use the rest of the circle for something else, it kind of feels like a bit of a waste to use that whole sheet of paper just to create a couple of wedges. Okay, so what I have done for mine is I've actually cut my paper in half at 6 inches and then again at 6 inches. I need to take these off. Alright, and once you've done that, what you can do is line the paper up into the corner of your mat. Okay, so you can see that's a 6 by 6 inch circle, and then line your circle up so that it's in the center of your mat. Okay, so it should fit kind of within this border that's going all the way around your mat. So we'll just line that up. Okay, and you're ready to go. So what that's going to do is give you a cut on your 6-inch piece of paper without having to use your whole sheet of designer paper for this project. Okay, and remember that your paper's double-sided, so we can use both sides of that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do that with the rest of my papers. So now what we have are our little wedges cut out, and remember they're double-sided, so we can use both sides of these. So now what we need to do is just create these little wedges here. So to do that, we'll need our trimmer, and then what we do is just pop the little center of the wedge, just make sure that's really right on the cutting line there. Okay, so you can see on our trimmers we've got the line where we know that that's where the blade's going to hit the mat. Okay, so we just make sure that the center of the wedge is on there, and then we pop the curve right up into the little gap where the carriage for the trimmer goes. Okay, so we keep the little corner there. Actually, I'll go from the other side, that's easier. Okay, we make sure the curve's up in that little wedge there, and then we can make the wedge either 2 inches, or you can vary them, they go out to 2.5 inches. Okay, the ones that I've done are mostly, I think I did 4 2 inches and 2.5 inches. I really love this designer paper, so I'm just going to bring this one out to 2 inches, 2.5 inches, because I want to see more of that. Okay, and then we just pop the corner back up into the line there, and then popping the curve up into that little gap there really makes sure that we're cutting it right on a straight line. Okay, so there's one. I'll just cut another one out of this paper. We'll make that 2.5 inches as well. I might use this piece actually because I like that it's got the little birdie on there. Alright, so we just go ahead and do that to the other pieces. So don't be too worried about the width of your cuts, as long as it's coming from that point. Okay, so it's got a definite center on there, because when we pop them on the page, we're actually going to put a little space in between the wedges, so it'll be fine, they'll line up, just trust me. Okay, so we've got our base piece here, so that now what we need to do is just choose the way that we would like the pieces to lie on the page. Okay, so we want the edge of the first piece to line up here, so I'll just use my 0 centering ruler to find the exact middle of the page. We don't want this point to sit right on 0, okay, because we've got because we want that gap in between them. Okay, so we want you can't see that. If I just take this off, okay, this photo mat's going to cover up a whole host of problems, but I'll just pull this apart and show you. You can see that we don't want them all meeting at exactly the same point in the middle, because we have that little gap in between them. Okay, so we don't want everything to meet up exactly in the center. We want it off center a little. Okay, so if we've got 0 here, then we want the tip of our wedge to probably be up about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and that will give us the space that we need for the shapes to go around. Okay, so I love this piece, and you know what, if I put this on the page it's going to be upside down, so what I'm going to do is just turn my design around, and that's okay. So just work with what you have and what you want. Okay, there's no hard fast rules that you have to follow. It's your page, remember, so your page, your rules. Okay, the only thing when you're laying the pieces down, you need to make sure that, because it's just going around in a circle, this gap between your wedge needs to come out at a gradient, so you can see that it's thinner in the middle and thicker at the other end. Okay, and that just helps the shape go around the edge. Okay, I always like darker colours to go towards the bottom. I'll pop the green up the top there. I think that's nicer. Okay, because I cut them at different widths, then we're going to have different pieces. That's going to work. That's going to work a bit better. Okay, so that's how I want my papers to sit. That's fine. So what we need to do now is just create the rounded corners there. So I do that using my corner rounder, my two-way corner rounder. So we just lay the straight side of the wedge up into the corner rounder like that, and just trim off the corner, and the same on the other side. So the straight edge goes up against the edge of the corner rounder, and we'll trim those off. So I'll just go ahead and do that with all of them. Okay, so we've got them all rounded and we're ready to start popping these down onto the page. So again, I'll use my zero centering ruler just to work out roughly where the center of the page is down here. So I just, you could move it up the top or down the bottom, whatever you prefer. I'm going to work out of the center. So I'm going to put the edge pieces on first. Okay, so we just put them right up against the edge of the designer piece here. Okay, and you are going to cover up the middle of that with a photo mat, so you do have a little bit of grace in there. Okay, so you can see that I've got quite a bit of overlap there, so what I need to do is just rearrange my papers. So we just give it a little bit less space in between. Okay, I told you I need my multi-purpose tool every time. And this is the beauty of the repositionable tape as well. It gives you a lot more flexibility. Okay, I'm still having a little bit of trouble getting this on here, so what I'm doing is bringing everything out a little bit more, just to give us some more room around the edge of the circle there, and that will help us get things fitted a bit better. Alrighty, so that's our little flower done. So remember, we're going to be putting a photo mat on over here, so that's okay, that's okay. Alright, so now that we have the base of the page finished, we're ready to go ahead and start doing our decorative elements. So in this case, I've got a border piece going up through the middle there. I do have some doodling, I guess, around the outside, and then we'll lay our photo mats down momentarily. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm going to use the Floral Peaks Border Punch. I really love this one. It's got these beautiful little flowers and leaf shapes in it, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so the Floral Peaks Punch is one that leaves the design attached to the page, so we just need our trimmer and we'll trim that off. A nice little edge there. Now, you know what, actually I'm going to just pop a little decorative trim on the edge of that, because this border is going to sit on the edge of our page there. So I'm just going to put a little wave in it. And I just think that'll give it just a little nice effect to the edge. Okay, I've lined the top of the design up to about 1 1/4 inches. And you can see that that creates that sweet little wave down the edge of the border there. And I just think that'll look a bit nicer down the edge there. Okay, so we just pop that on the edge of the page. Okay, so that's our little border down the middle of the page there. So we're ready to go ahead and pop our photo mats down and start embellishing. So I've got some photo mats here. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this photo mat over a little bit just to cover up some of that variant that I don't really like. And it's got that little birdie there, that's really sweet. Okay, and we can pop our photo mats down on the page. And I have some embellishments here. Let's see how we go. All right, I think that looks sweet. So I'm ready to pop that down. Okay, so our embellishments are down. So usually you can see in my original design I did have that little bit of a triangle happening. So when you're doing embellishments, it is a good idea to do a triangle of clusters, and what that does is helps guide your eye across the page. So I do have my embellishments at the bottom and the top, but this little bird is actually acting as another element to the triangle, I think. So I'm not going to put anything else on the page. I'm just going to leave it at that. So that's where we're up to at the moment. Now, I'm not happy with this because it's feeling a little bit bare around the edge here. So you can see on my original design, I've just drawn a couple of lines around the edge here, and I feel that that really finishes it off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'll just use my zero centering ruler for that. So I've just drawn those lines around the edges there, and I think you'll agree that that does actually finish the page off. So so that's just another idea for the challenge, to use your circle shapes to create a page. So I hope you found that useful. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you like, you can follow me on Facebook at Scraphappykath. If you like and subscribe to my channel, then you'll be able to see my videos as they're posted, and I'd love the support. And you can shop online with me at creativememoriesau.com/user/Scraphappykath. Terrific. Well, have a terrific day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.